Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Oji.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you?
Good morning.
Great. Good morning, Tundu.
Good morning, Oji.
How are you? I'm doing great. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Oji. Great.
Great. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the highlights of what's trending across the globe. Well, as Nigerians celebrate the appointment of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as WTO boss, her sister, Dr. Njide Okonjo-Udochi, has emerged the 2021 Family Physician of the Year in Maryland, USA. Then, in the UK, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, after winning her court case against the Mail on Sunday for publishing private information about her, has demanded a payment of £750,000 towards her legal costs and a front-page apology. Then, in Nigeria, the Oba of Lagos, Rilwan Akiolu, has disclosed that $2 million was carted away by hoodlums who stormed and ransacked his palace in the aftermath of the End SARS protest. Then, reactions trail as President Muhammadu Buhari orders security agents to shoot gun-wielding bandits and anyone seen with an AK-47 in the country. Finally, Nollywood mourns veteran actor Sadiq Daba, who died after a long battle with leukemia on Wednesday. He was 69 years old.
We are dealing with premeditated murder in the first degree. I'm imposing an 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on Akute. Find out anything unusual, and if by chance you come into contact with the killer, you must blow your whistle.
Transfer him to a Agodi prison in Ibadan tomorrow. They'll take it from there.
But that is not right. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Is the case in Enugu not bad enough?
Oh, may his gentle soul rest in peace. Let's begin with reactions to President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to security agencies to shoot anyone seen with an AK-47 gun in any forest in the country. Spokesperson to President Garba Shehu, while speaking with the BBC Hausa service, disclosed that the government has decided to go lethal in order to get rid of bandits that have been ravaging northern parts of the country. The statement, which has been condemned by some civil society groups, has garnered mixed reactions on social media. Let's take a tweet from a user named Telrida, who wrote, "I service. After a video emerged that former President Obasanjo gave order against OPC. Well, will Buhari's shooters comb the forest or stay in towns looking for those wielding AK-47? Let Buhari address us in a media chat and give his order to show that he is in charge and serious." Well, you know, it's not the first time we're seeing these types of statements from leaders. I think what Telrida was talking about was when Olusegun Obasanjo back in October 2011 had ordered the police to shoot Nigerian rioters on sight during the violent intertribal clash between Hausa traders and militants from the Yoruba Oodua People's Congress. Well, let's quickly take a look at that video before we discuss, guys.
The police have acted according to the instruction they have been given that any criminal should be shot at sight. But now they have even got additional instruction. Anybody who calls himself OPC should be arrested, or if he doesn't give himself to arrest, he should be shot at sight. We cannot allow this country to be taken over by hoodlums.
Well, you see, Tundu, I know you guys interviewed Dr. Obwala, who had said that this order is in the Constitution. But a lot of people are saying, I mean, how do you do that in this time of the country? While others are saying, I hope that the order will be enforced. I don't know what your take is, but I think it's quite a stretch.
He said it's in the Geneva Convention, and that makes it legal. But yes, my initial reaction as a lawyer is that any form of summary execution makes me nervous.
Yes.
We have a laid-down process, arrest, prosecution and it's not done by the police. We've had NSARS, haven't we? This kind of arbitrary abuse of power. But I understand where the president is coming from at this point because of that Geneva Convention and the whole desperate situations require, desperate means or what have you. So that's probably what he's thinking. I actually don't see... I was actually appalled when that video, the old video, was dug up of President Obasanjo, as he then was, saying that rioters who resist arrest should be shot. I think that is appalling. We had just undergone a horrible military regime. We had a clean slate. And you now come and you're telling people to be shot for resisting arrest. I actually remember when that happened. He was reacting to the horrors that went on between the Hausa community and the OPC. I remember people being burnt alive. It was so harrowing at the time. But that does not ever justify saying rioters should be shot for resisting arrest. That the punishment for resisting arrest is not death. But now, with the terrorism, it's slightly different, as far as I'm concerned. He didn't say if you're minding your business in town, you should be shot. If you're in the forest carrying an AK-47, what on earth are you doing in the forest carrying an AK-47 if you are not a bandit at this point? The kid gloves have to come off. And this is the same person. I don't like to be overly critical. I think it's such an ugly character trait. A lot of people have criticized the president for not doing anything because he feels that those Fulani herders are his constituencies. Now he's showing that he's completely impartial, that it's not about being Fulani, it's about being a criminal, wherever you're from. And people are still quibbling. I mean, what exactly do we want? Where does the line get drawn? I think we need this kind of short, sharp shock to get everybody back into line and back to their senses. These people are running rampage. We cannot continue to play with the niceties of let's try and arrest them. If you're carrying an AK-47 and a police officer or military person apprehends you, what's going to happen? Of course, there's going to be an exchange of gunfire. So I don't have a problem with it at all. And I'm surprised to hear myself say it, but I actually don't. At this point, this has to stop. The madness has to stop.
Dr. Batu,
well, this order was explained in the context of the recent national security meeting that the president had with the service chiefs. And at the end of that meeting, we got to know about two outcomes. One, the declaration of a no-fly zone over Zamfara, which Garuba Shehu has further explained to check illegal mining activities and the fact that, the illegal miners, they use jets, they use helicopters and other means to take gold illegally out of Nigeria, and that there is even a thriving Nigerian gold market in Dubai. So government wants to check that. The second declaration after that meeting is this declaration that anybody found with AK-47, should be shot on sight. Now, I think we'll need more clarification. Yes, if you are carrying an AK-47, it's illegal, simpliciter, within the purview of the Robbery and Firearms Act of 1990, which was further modified in 2004. And before now, the police and previous administrations had tried to enforce that Firearms Act 2004 as it is. Because under the law, you can only carry a weapon, a gun, if you are licensed to do so by either the president or the Inspector General of Police. But if you look at the Firearms Act, you cannot carry bomb, you can't carry grenade, you can't carry semi-automatic weapons. You can't go about carrying AK-47 or AK-49 or propeller grenades or whatever other weapons are listed under that particular law. In fact, at a point, the Nigerian police force had to set up what they call a police enforcement task team dedicated specifically to the illegal possession of those, prohibited firearms listed under the Firearms Act. But what we have seen, when you hear headers are carrying AK-47, AK-49, some people in Zamfara or elsewhere are carrying semi-automatic weapons, be they bandits or headers or terrorists, they are violating established laws. And there are established sanctions under the law. So if the president now says that, okay, just shoot them on sight, the fact that President Obasanjo did it then does not necessarily mean it is there in the laws in Nigeria that anybody can just shoot at sight or shoot on sight. And that's the point Tunu was making about summary execution. We've spent decades in this country arguing, condemning extrajudicial killing. So what is the implication of this? Is this an official endorsement of extrajudicial killing?
That was my first
outside
question.
due process.
It is.
That is one question that they will need to respond to. Because if you sanction extrajudicial killing at the presidential level, what you may be legitimizing will be abuse, because it's open to abuse. Now, the second question is to ask, would this be restricted only to Zamfara? Because this was declared in the context of the security situation in Zamfara. Or is it nationwide? We still need information in that regard. If it is nationwide, our herders, right, who have been accused of carrying weapons in the forests, on the highways, do they fall within the purview of this? And that's where there's also likely to be abuse. Because the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, has pointed out that, in fact, cattle herders carry more sophisticated weapons than even the police, the DSS, or even the military. So are we now saying that security agents, anybody can go and wear police uniform, should start shooting herders wherever they find them? So there's also that vagueness in that regard. So that's why I think there should be more clarification, so that we do not have a situation whereby, in an attempt to deal with a desperate situation, we now adopt a desperate solution that can be possibly open to abuse, so that you don't have, a wanton display of extrajudicial killing, human rights abuses. If you carry an ordinary stick, you can just be gunned down, and then they will go and look for one gun and put by your side and justify it.
True.
And you will have been a victim of extrajudicial killing.
They can
Government, in trying to solve the problem, should not on its own adopt measures that can encourage anarchy.
Well said. Rufai, your take on the story.
So for this, I'll say this real quickly. It has to be said. I think it was Francois de la Rochefoucauld that said, hypocrisy is the homage vice pays to virtue. We've been hypocritical about this problem of bandits all this while, and it's come to bite us. And we can solve the problem because we know what the cycle is like. There's an element of business in it, because every business fuels crime. A no-fly zone was declared, but is that enough? Aren't we thinking of how to track those that are coming to deliver weaponry to those bandits in exchange for gold? Can't we use international surveillance? Can't we track those precious metals that get out of Dubai and people that deliver them in the market? Can't we use Interpol to fight that? That's one arm of the fight. Secondly, we've seen people go into the bush and say they've been talking to these people. These people even confirm to us that they have intelligence, that the military does have intelligence, that they know the hideout of these bandits. Can't we go out there, carry out an action, sweep them up once and for all, since we're saying that all what Gumi has been doing now, we don't want that any longer, because it's not yielded anything. We've just been negotiating and giving them more money.
No, Rufai.
So this is the time.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you here. We'll have to go on a short break. And when we come back, what's trending on the morning show? We'll continue. Stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show. We're still on What's Trending. We'll take another story. Reports reaching us indicate that suspected herders were paid 15 million naira in ransom after kidnapping 2 farmers in a small community in Lagos. Well, according to the report, the herders bearing sophisticated weapons attacked and kidnapped the owner of a farm, Ikorodu Integrated. The farm owner had just returned to the country from the UK and visited the farm with his brother, where they were both kidnapped. The family of the victims then reached out to the police, and they were told to cooperate with the kidnappers. The family then had to sell valuable assets, including the farm, to raise the ransom. Kundu, look at what we're seeing here.
I'm appalled, OJ. This is the thing. I have this big bleeding heart, and we have to follow the rules and follow procedure. And then you read a story like what you've just read, and I'm thinking, yes, President Buhari, gun them down.
This
I mean, I don't even care.
It's not even in the north.
At this point, I don't care. This is why I said to you, I'm surprising myself with how I just have such little tolerance for any more of this madness. It's getting ridiculous. Look at what has happened to this family. 15 million naira for certain people is an absolute fortune. They had to sell their farm. Yes. Why? Because the police could not apprehend these people. They were told, you're on your own.
Yes, we have bandits, and then we have issues with our police.
Yes, you're on your own.
How do you tell them to cooperate with the kidnappers? What are you doing then, Dr. Abati?
Well, I mean, sad story of the security situation we face in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You could say that in this case, the owner of integrated farms, this is in the Korodu area, between Ishu and the Mota area of that part of Lagos State. But other farmers were not so lucky. You will recall that, bandits had attacked farmers on the farm of Chief Ulufalai. Not all of them are alive today. They didn't even get a chance to be asked to pay ransom. You will recall also the case of the doctor in Oyo State, who has a farm who had created jobs for, thousands of people around his community, who was also gone down. One of the reasons why you had people like Sunday Igboho emerging. So it, again, underscores the menace. But even when we say, well, they are lucky to be alive, because some people even pay ransom, and they still get killed. So it shows the seriousness of the problem, and the more reason why the authorities need to scale up their game, why, the intervention has to be more serious. The new security service chiefs, when they first assumed office, both the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Army Staff, they met with the troops. They also promised Nigerians that they will be more creative in dealing with the problem. One of the major issues we have is that it looks like the old pattern all over again. Security meeting will be held at the federal level. A press statement will be issued, or there will be a press briefing. It is the same old rhetoric. So what we're saying is that we are calling on the new team, General Loki Rabo and his team, to see that they have a serious job to do. You may say that it's not the job of the military to go after kidnappers. So, okay, even if it's the job of the police, they also need to step up their game. The Inspector General of Police, who has been given additional 3 months, there must be a justification for that extension in terms of performance. Now, secondly, the story says that the police were informed, but it was the police command in Lagos State, even advising the people to go and give the money. And there's no part of that story, as I read it, where there was any attempt by the police to even provide any protection. If the founder of Integrated Farm Sister, who was the person who went to deliver the money, what if she herself had been kidnapped again? So it shows how vulnerable Nigerians are, and it's just unfortunate, but we have to, at least congratulate or celebrate with these 2 persons who managed to escape. The third point is that kidnapping, as we can see, has become big business.
Yes.
It's become an occupation for some people, and a very profitable occupation. You just grab somebody, keep the person, knowing that the police is not going to intervene, the state itself is helpless, then you make money. These kidnappers, this is successful business for them now. I don't think there will be any follow-up by the same police command that advised that ransom should be paid. So tomorrow they look for another person and, kidnap the person. So they make honest hard work look like a sin in Nigeria. I mean, I'm sure only God knows how many hours you spend preparing for this, And when you hear that somebody who is a criminal is just making 15 million, just like that, and the state is not intervening in any significant way, it even discourages people who want to do honest work.
Now, Rufai, I will take this story so you can discuss both. It's all on the kidnapping. A student among the kidnapped Gebe schoolgirls that were released on Tuesday has narrated her ordeal with the kidnappers. According to the student, their abductors advised the girls to abandon school so they can get married. Some even shared their phone numbers, promising to contact them over the phone to find out if they had accepted their marriage proposal. Rufai, just the other day we were talking about child soldiers. Now we're seeing child marriage here with the kidnappers.
So I think the security authorities should see that as a big lead and should be thankful that that kidnapper did that. So what they should do is they should track that number, use it to infiltrate that den, and go after them. That has to be done. Every form of intelligence must be used. It's a psychological play. They know what they're doing. You can call it Stockholm syndrome or any other syndrome. It's just a psychological play. It's just an affirmation. Just like after those, some people collected money from some people that they kidnapped and told them to say, we forgive you. It's barbaric. It's nonsensical. I'll come back to that Ikorodu incident. It's very important we look at this strategically. We need forest rangers. And this is where I'm going to make a strong case. Why can't Amotekun be in Lagos? A big case I'm making for that. That axis you are seeing, I know that axis very well. Imota, Ishawo, and all those areas. There are many entry routes into Ikorodu through Imota and Ishawo. At first, you can come in through a very small village called Odielemo. That's on the Ogun State axis after Shagamu. A lot of that place is filled with bush. You can also come in through Ijebu-Ode and drive straight down. You can also use that, you pass a back channel, where that aircraft fell that many years ago, I think in 1993. You can pass as a back channel to come into Lekki, and all of those places are inundated with big bush. We need security forces to swarm areas like that. And you know why? Because that area is strategic. The Lagos State government recently built one of the biggest rice mills in that area, or they are doing the project of the biggest rice mill. So that area needs to be protected. The Imota Ishawo axis, we need a lot of forest rangers to be able to fight it when it comes. Because if kidnappers see that there's a lot of hideout for them, and there's a lot of hideout for them, they can hide anywhere. Because when you look at that area, down straight to Lucky Fiber, it's all bush everywhere. They can infiltrate that area, and they are doing that already. That's why they can infiltrate, you get, all those Adamo areas and some other areas like that. So we should be careful. They are coming in through those areas. We should push them back one-on-one, and that's why, Lagos State government said they've got neighborhood watch, but I don't think neighborhood watch can do the good job against those kidnappers. It's time for Amotekun to be in those areas. We should watch it. We should be serious. We should be sensible about it. Because it's already coming, and we're seeing it. Nobody's safe. They can come in through the Lekki axis, through the back, and pass those villages, coming through the back, coming through Lekki, or coming through anywhere. Please. And it's so sad. It's so sad this is happening at this point in time in this country. Very sad. All hands must be on deck. We must fight crime and criminality tooth and nail. It's a business. Let's call it for what it is. This is crime, and we should all fight crime.
Thank you, Rufai. Dr. Abbas.
And with farms and farmers being targeted from the north to the middle belt to the south, you now get the explanation for the food crisis that we face.
That's another point, yes.
Beyond, the fact that Cattle Dealers Association from the north decided to suspend bringing their goods. This is the big problem here. And, if we're talking about hunger, we're talking about famine, Nigeria. Well, if farmers can no longer go to farms and nobody can set up farms, and of course the security agencies must do their work. Right. Well, I think we should just thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Ojimeka.
Thank you, Tunde.
Yes.
Thank you, Rufai.